Greetings, greetings, friends of the A Collision with Purpose Project. Welcome to another episode of Bridging Generations, Voices of Men. I am Dr. Laxley Stephenson. Voices of Men is a groundbreaking talk show that delves into the multifaceted experiences of men across different generations. In an era where societal norms and expectations rapidly evolve, this show offers young and older men a unique platform to voice their challenges, triumphs, and perspectives.
My name is Augusta Foster. I'm one of your co-hosts, and every week, this episode aims to foster understanding and bridging the gap between generations, exploring themes ranging from masculinity and mental health to career dynamics and personal relationships.
And by bringing together voices from varied age groups, the show sheds light on the commonalities and differences in the male experience, encouraging open dialogue and mutual learning.
So, whether it's a teenager grappling with the pressures of social media or a senior reflecting on the changing definitions of manhood, Bridging Generations is committed to uncovering the real stories of men navigating through the complexities of a changing world. Ladies and gentlemen, to our distinguished audience, we are your moderators for tonight and every week, guys. Welcome back. It's good to see everybody. Doc, how's everything going?
Awesome, man. What a good feeling. This week went by so fast, didn't it?
Yes, It's already Thursday, which is a good thing because we're on. But it is.
It's a good thing that we're here to experience it. But man, what's going on? Why is it like it seems like it's moving so fast? What's up? Is it because we're so busy doing things?
I would say yes. You know, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like the older I get, the faster, quicker the time moves. I feel like the weekends used to feel like summers, but now they feel like a 30-minute break. So I don't know.
I want to hear what Xavier have to say. That you're talking about older. He's getting younger, getting younger.
Yeah, let's ask the 22-year-old.
Come on, generations. Come on,
I
generations.
might be 22, but I feel old at 72. It's getting shorter and shorter by the minute. It's just been a lot going on. Been a busy week, but it's Thursday again.
Thursday again. I'm talking about Thursday again. What the voices of men? What does that say?
Voices of Men is just a group of great guys coming together and speaking what we think, what's on our heart, what's on our minds, and what's on our spirit.
I like it.
You like that?
I like the specifically coming from the younger brother to be able to step forward and say, us coming together and having this conversation. Yeah, it's we're leading the next generation pretty well. We're doing a good job. Pat on the back for myself for leading, being one of the people leading the next generation to understand the importance of these conversations.
Great job, Augusta. Yeah. I think this interesting. I like how it's almost a good segue because I often think about how, when we, even as men, and sometimes, no, this is not a black man show, but as black men, oftentimes, or just being black, not necessarily black men, I think the perception is that our lives are similar or the same because our skin color, so my black is not your black, right? Just like, so now we're talking about voices of men. My manhood is not your manhood. My walk, my experience is not the same as Xavier, Augusta, or Doc. So I think that's also like a good thing to have this platform because we get to hear from different perspectives, different walks.
Yeah, each of us have a voice, is what I hear you saying.
Absolutely.
And it's a voice that deserves to be heard. So that's what Voices of Men is telling me. And to have a seat at the table as well.
Yes.
Yeah, be a part of the discourse. Whatever it is we're talking about, it's worth talking about. And that's what this platform is all about. And the Bridging Generations part now is that we have different age groups, right? Not necessarily younger and older, but experience. Some younger person, male guy, may have more experience than an older person. But we like to believe that because there could be a different perspective based on age, we're going to bring it together and find some commonality.
I like how you said that, finding the commonalities.
Mhm.
That's good.
I think that's what it's all about. We made a commitment, didn't we?
We did.
That we're going to stay focused on something, and each week we'll report on it. Who wants to go first?
So we want to repeat that the
I think
commitment.
last week we started with Xavier, so we went with the youngest. So it only makes sense that we go with the person who's been blessed to have the most rotations. So that would be you, Doctor. That would be, I think you should lead the way.
Okay, I think I can do that. My commitment was about building a scholarship fund, right? And we went a little bit further in my commitment, in that we're having an event, a conference at Shiloh High School, March 2nd, and we decided to attract more students and to make them part of the conversation. We're going to be raffling 3 scholarships
Awesome.
during that event. And that's part of the commitment, again, to focus on building leaders, building the scholarship fund that we announced at A Collision with Purpose Scholarship Fund. So I think I'm staying course with that, am I?
Right.
I believe you are. Yeah.
Spot on. Amazing progress.
So that's my report, my commitment.
Love it. I said that I would be committed myself to do more genuine service for this year. So, of course, through work, signed up for a couple of things, but still looking for some opportunities to take my family out to provide some service directly with the community. Also spend some time reaching out with a couple of partners and mentors of mine to check their interest in a program that I currently take a role in, which is Global Humanity Network, where I'm working with Laxley to build up this mentorship program to assist with that young generation and that next generation coming up. Specifically for me, as somebody who at that critical age was very blessed to have people I was introduced to or who came into my life that really assisted me with where I am today and kept me from places that I really could have been. So I'm looking to really get some people involved to play an integral role in that and grow that program, and looking forward to
it. Thank you, Augusta.
That's what's up. I'll say, my thing this year has been to, of course, when new opportunities present themselves, to do it scared,
Right.
and why I'm so focused on doing it scared, because I know everyone that knows me knows I'm always overanalyzing, overthinking everything. Even mentors and friends always say, Juan, they'll say something, they say, Juan, don't overthink it. Just go, So oftentimes if I'm overthinking it, I'm talking myself out of it. Well, what if I'm not prepared? What if I'm underqualified? What if I don't have all of these things? So I just recently was recommended for there's I think it's an online magazine, and so I was recommended for an interview. So I just finished an interview for online magazine, just about people just having an impact on their communities and just out here who are just adding a positive vibe and doing positive work out here in society. And so of course I was happy about it at first. I mean, I still was happy about it, but then I started to think about it, and I'm like, I don't know what to say, and what should I do? And they need pictures, all of these things. I said, you know what? Let's go. The minute I start thinking like that, I jumped on and I just started doing it. And so
Did it scared?
I did.
Did it scared? That's awesome.
Good. This week, my commitment was to say, not necessarily just say no, but to focus more on myself and my own personal well-being. This weekend, we're actually going to take some time out, spend some time with my family. Being now that I'm getting older, whether that's here or there, but all of my cousins are getting older. We're graduating college, in our adult lives, so we haven't really connected with each other as much. But we're going to go and take our grandmother out for I can't say it just yet because she's watching, but it's a surprise. But we're going to take her out and get all the cousins back together and fellowship again.
That's big. Family is that's major.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. We have just want to let our audience know that we have a guest that will be coming on in the next segment. It's going to be exciting, conversation. So we're so looking forward to that. But before we get to our guest, I want to go around this panel and ask the question: what is on your mind? What is bothering you? What's the foremost thing that's on your mind right now? What are you thinking about?
I'm gonna say this election process. I'm quite scared. I'm scared right now.
That's a topic by itself. That's a show.
It is. It absolutely is.
Yeah. And why are you scared?
They could be ready to lead out on that show.
Why are you scared, Xavier?
Honestly, I don't know where it's gonna go. And we're in a situation kind of like how it was in the 2020 election, where we're kind of doomed if we do, doomed if we don't. And especially with people in my generation, they're not going to say everyone, but a lot of them aren't even looking forward towards voting. And it's not like I can take anyone out to vote because now that's illegal. But it's it's hard because if you don't put your voice in it, or you don't even have your say, how can you say anything about it? But when you have the people that's there that's still not going to say anything about what you have to say, what do you do?
What do you do? Yeah, this election coming up, it's huge. It's huge, and who knows how it's going to go. But one thing I do know is we have a vote.
We do.
We should. That's what should we do with that?
Exercise.
You can't get force anyone to go out there and do it. But one thing you can do is exercise yours.
Yeah.
So
we have a vote. We have a voice.
Absolutely. So that's a real concern. Always a real concern. Election is coming up, and especially with all the craziness that went on during the last election, and still going on. We're not a political show, of course, but we talk about our voices are everywhere. So if politics is the topic, then it is the topic. And they saw that Blotch failed impeachment.
Yeah.
No, that was maybe another reason why Xavier said he's concerned, because some crazy things can happen out there, But we must speak up. I believe that we are to select our leaders. Our leaders should not select us.
Right.
I'm a believer in that. You pick your leader, and at least are your leaders, and at least you make an attempt to do so. I think that's your responsibility, as a duty. So that's something we should do. What's on your mind, Augusta?
Oh man, I was after hearing that. Now I'm thinking of somewhat of the political process. I would say this with respect to the political process. I think I was fortunate enough to have a mother who was very active in the community and civic authority, community organizer, voting events, all of that. So I tell people, if you're someone who's listening to this live or somebody who's listening to replay, please vote locally also. Like, please.
Yes.
First and foremost, I want to say that as a father, understand who your children's superintendent is, or possibly a commissioner of your city, who runs your police districts, all of those things. Like, that is of the utmost important, and it's critical to your everyday general infrastructure, just as much as whoever it is at 1600 Pennsylvania is. I will say that every time. Voting locally can make or break your city.
Stress that, because I don't think people realize how powerful
there is. Yeah, there is. I could bring, of course, bring my mother on here if it came to that, and have her talk about the history of LA's political system and all of those things, and the meeting of mayors. And yeah, it's very different. But no, outside of that, I'm just thinking of 2024 so far has been a very good year pushing through. I've received some very, very good phone calls this week, so I'm happy, because I said this was going to be the year of execution, almost, like Brother Juan said, doing it scared, not necessarily knowing what is next, but stepping out on faith, going, all right,
Yeah.
we'll, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna get, but I'm gonna get out the boat. I'll put it that way for the people who know the
That's
verse.
good.
I'm going,
Get out the boat.
I'm gonna get out the boat. If I'm gonna walk on something, but I'm gonna get out the boat.
Get out the vote.
That's
And
good.
Juan, before you do your piece, I just want to remind our audience that share the program. You know, share it with your friends. Get other people involved. Share it, because what we're going to talk about, what we're talking about, is very important stuff. So share it and subscribe to our channels, our YouTube and Facebook channels. But most importantly, share it. Spread the word. Spread the love. Right. So, Juan, what's going on with you? What you thinking about?
Man, it's a lot of what both Augusta and Xavier expressed. But more specifically, it's been a good time, 24 so far. But being an educator is, especially in the time that we're in, we're talking about voices, especially voices of men. And so it's ran into a couple of situations, not personal, but just at work and at my school. And so my mind, to answer your question, is just about the um state of mind that these generations are in, where their mind is, what's influencing them, and not just them being influenced, but them influencing each other. They say that with each generation it gets worse, or it intensifies. And so just the things that I see and just what I'm working with every day. And I have a 9-year-old daughter who will be 10 this year, so just my mind is, for the past couple of weeks, have been, centered on, like, what does that work look like this year? I think day by day, the work that we're all involved in is making an impact, and creating opportunities for us to reach out and to impact generations. I had a conversation with a partner last night on one of the boards I sit on, and she was just sharing that she's pivoting in the foundation because she feels drawn to middle school students, and quite a few people on our board are educators in the middle school and principals and such. And so she was sharing her heart and her concern for middle school, all students, but especially, more specifically, middle school students. So I felt her on everything that she said. So that's kind of where my mind has been. They have access now to everything instantly.
Push of a button.
And a lot of times they know about things before we get it, so they can explain it. They can explain what somebody said, what the comment was, what the object, new drug, whatever it is, they know, and they have access to it.
It is. Yeah. That's I have a 13-year-old, so I think of that regularly. There's certain music I would love to just completely disconnect from, like, and just be like, I don't really need that in my brain and my spirit. I'm okay. But at times I have to at least Google and research it, because I'm like, I'm not valuing this music. I see nothing to it, but I need to know possibly what my daughter is lending her ear to, what my son is maybe listening, because that's important for the fact of I need to know what you're into. I need to know what you like. And in this society, the advent of technology and then being able to have access to everything at the touch of a button, it's, the days of, you having Encyclopedia Britannica or having to go and check the Dewey Decimal System to get some level of information at your local library, that's over with. Like, at the touch of a button, you could find information, which is awesome. But the downside of it is it's extremely dangerous, because we don't, just the lack of filtering. And it's great for kids to have that knowledge, but I said that's a topic in itself, how, even just from a parenting standpoint, how do you manage it properly to where you're not the hover, you don't want to be the hover dad, but you still want to give your kid enough freedom to be themselves and who they're expected to be.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that's awesome. I tell you, I'm going to take it outside the United States. I'm going to take it to Kenya. That's what Kenya has on my mind, specifically 2 students. One of them was kicked out of school because they can't pay their tuition. And one of them still in school, but tuition is not paid. So I am aggressively looking to find someone somewhere will jump in and help those two students. And if that is something that you care to do, want to do, just reach out to me, contact me. You know, these kids, they need it, they deserve it, and they're not in a financial position to do anything about their situation. And in saying that, meaning their parents are not in a position. They need help also. But my focus is more about the students. One is boarding in a boarding school, but she can no longer attend school. Yep. You know,
So
how
Doc, if for those who get wind of this and who are interested in contributing, how do they reach out to you?
They can, you know, I'm all over Facebook, A Collision with Purpose, you know, or my email, laxley.stevenson@gmail.com, you know, A Collision with Purpose @gmail.com, or send that for the link, you know, tap in on this broadcast. So if something good to do, you know, and I am going to find two individuals take this case on, and there are others as well, but these are two ones right now. You know, we have a guest, and we are deep into the program. So if you guys don't mind, you think we can take a quick break right now?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's take a quick.
Blessings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Topstar. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest single entitled Far. Yeah. Now this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me see the aim, me a navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me a see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me a do my thing now, watch no one else. Some of them a stay up, they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. You know me, I am far as a winner, me no know about failure. I feel make it big, I feel make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me know me I go, cause me know me I come from. Where me I come from, dark like dungeon. Some say me not go nowhere, that's my assumption. But mine I kill them, so them brain function. Far me I come from, and I turn back. Overcome my struggles, me no want it come back. Judas them a fight me, Mortal Kombat. Them full up of jealousy and judge, I no love that. You know me I aim for top star, cat never fear no danger. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Learn a lot along the way. Sorry if me mark a dog, them bite anyway. Me know the pain me get betrayed. Me conquer emotion, use a spit and pave the way. Calm me mind and relax. Me nah go worry, ja a guide nah fear. Them set the good, you set the bait and the traps. Trying to get me in a trouble with the cops still. You know me I am far, born as a winner, me don't know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from. Me know where me I go, and I tell you something I last me way now. Cause me know where me I go.
a top star, born as a winner. Born as a winner. I don't know nothing about failure, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying he's coming far, and that's what it's all about. Failure is not an option for us, right? And that's what he's saying. So, Juan, let's bring our guest on. Why don't you introduce our special guest for tonight?
So we have tonight a mentee. His name is Michael Johnson, and he is a voice to his generation and in his community. Real quick, he is Walter State's women's assistant basketball coach and recruiting coordinator. So it's his first year as a college coach. Year 4 coaching altogether. So he did coach in his community. His first 2 years he coached middle school and high school kids. And he does UAA Under Armour circuit, and he also worked as a manager and intern for Tennessee State University. He graduated from the Tennessee State University. I always been told to put the in front of Tennessee State University for those who are alumni. So the Tennessee State University in May 2023 with a bachelor's degree in business administration. So with further ado, I want to introduce to you all Michael Johnson.
Let's have the drum roll, guys. The drum roll. Let's do the drum roll.
There he is.
What's going on, everybody?
All right.
Mike. Is
what Mike, you've been hanging out.
How we doing, Coach?
Backstage listening all this time. Welcome on, man.
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. It's been a crazy busy day, but I'm super blessed and excited to be on here with you all.
I take it that you're at. Are you on campus?
Yes, of course. we in the thick of the season right now. So like today was crazy recruiting, and then practice and team dinner. So this has been a crazy day, crazy week. But like I said earlier, the week's been flying by. It's definitely flew by. I don't even know what day of week it is sometimes.
Mike, you look like a college student. How come you're coaching college?
So I graduated in May. So it was, people all the time like, how old are you? You kind of close to the players' age. So I get that a lot, but I was just blessed with the opportunity and just the connections that I made at Tennessee State kind of allowed me to get this job. So
that's awesome, man. So now fresh out of college, graduated in May. You attended the Tennessee State University.
Yes, sir.
I want to make sure I get that right for anybody in my family who's an Ohio State grad. This is what was asked of me. So now from graduating from there, from I believe it's the largest HBCU in the state. It's one of the largest public HBCUs, dope alma maters. How did you end up transitioning so quickly from that to women's coaching? And then also I would ask, since now you have your foot in the door, not to assume you're leaving, but what is the next step? Because there's always a next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the transition wasn't so bad just because I've been doing it. Like I said, this is my 4th year coaching now. So I coached on the Under Armour circuit with B-Mays Elite here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And it was funny. I was in college, due to COVID, I was at home. So I was able to coach both. So I made the transition from boys to the women's side. And I got a head coaching position, probably one of the youngest head coaches to ever coach on the Under Armour circuit. So, I was used to coaching girls, really around my age. And so being at Tennessee State University, learning from Coach Penny Collins and his staff there, just kind of learning that balance of, okay, you want to be a coach, but you can't act like a player and do, everything that players do. So I kind of got to start the transition. And mentally, I knew what I wanted to do my senior year of college. So I already started to think like a coach and act like a coach and just go ahead and start making those connections and network. And that way, when I did make the transition, it would be smoother. So it was kind of easier because I didn't have school to worry about anymore. It was just now I can just focus on basketball. So it was kind of easier, but it's busy, extremely busy. And so what's next for me is honestly, I really don't, you think about it, but I just try to be where my feet are. I just want to bloom wherever I'm planted. Yeah, so I don't really try to think about, what's next. I just thinking about the 10, serving my head coach as best as possible and these girls as best as possible. So, going on and getting them, we finish the season, hopefully win a championship. The school I'm at now has won plenty of those, and just trying to help them get ready for their next phase in life, on and off the court. So I just try to be where my feet are.
Mike, I just love that you said bloom where you're planted. I did a piece and grow where you're planted. And I think that is so powerful what you just said. Awesome stuff. But Mike, you're where you are now, but you didn't start here. Tell us about your life before you got to where you are.
Yeah, so my life was, it was definitely it's one of those things, where it's like you got to work with the deck you were dealt. So at a very young age, I come from really a single parent household. My mom, she was a trooper. She raised pretty much me and my sister as a single mother, and it was finances weren't necessarily where they needed to be. So that's kind of where I got my drive from. But I went through middle school and played sports all my life, and so learned a lot of good lessons from coaches from ever since I was 4 to now. That's why I'm the coach I am today. And then went on to high school, met people like Juan, and my dad. He wasn't just like a deadbeat or anything, but for majority of my life he was in jail, and then he got out of jail probably like my 7th grade year in middle school. So it wasn't his fault, well, it was kind of his fault, but he just wasn't like, I'm not gonna fool with him. He was in prison, and then my sophomore year he passed away. So I was glad I got to experience that time, but I had mentors like Juan, and I met him like right in that time. Like Juan probably remember all of that. So I had great mentors like Juan that kind of took me under their arm and just groomed me. So that's where a lot of the motivation and determination comes from, is just because of going without when I was younger. So now I just want to make sure that all my the hard work that my mom she did, and I just repay her for it, and make sure that her and my sister we don't got to worry about we can't get this because we can't afford it, so just things like that. So that's kind of what made me, and then going to college and just trying to become a man. So it's kind of where it came from.
That's awesome, man.
You're doing this, man. Juan, what was it like mentoring Michael? What was that
Man,
all about?
I have nothing but good things to say about Mike. Mike is like he said, wherever he's planted, he's gonna bloom. Michael is a natural leader. His people flock to him. I know many of our conversations are always centered around using your influence in a positive way, because he's influential. That's since I've met him, since high school up until now. And so he made it easy. He definitely made it easy. Oftentimes he's had so many opportunities to speak in front of crowds, be it at church or his class or wherever it is. And so we would sit down and just kind of talk through what he's going to speak about. So those were a lot of our conversations. What does this look like? How do I say this? Does this sound right? What should I trade? So it was never like, I just did something. I need you to come cover for me. I need you to get me out, So, and I used to tell him all the time, I said, thank you, because you're one of the ones who, make it easy. So it really it's been refreshing and rewarding just watching him bloom and become.
I will say this, one. It wasn't natural. It was not natural. I'll tell you really what when the switch flipped for me. Man, it was one day I went in this office. I'm mad. I'm frustrated. I'm like, man, Miss Lanzoni. Mind you, I love this teacher to death, Miss Lanzoni. Man, Miss Lanzoni, she always on my case. Why? I don't understand. She always getting on me, and it's a whole group of people laughing. She always got to say something to me. And Juan, the thing about Juan is he mentored me, he groomed me, but it was like with love, but accountability at the same time. And so he told me, he said, Mike, I'm not going to lie to you. He was like, Mike, you're a leader whether you want to be or not. He was like, you remind me a lot of myself when I was younger. I still remember this conversation. It was my senior year. He was like, you remind me a lot of myself. And he was like, he said, I don't know if you ever watched the movie Superman, but he was like, when Superman tried to take off his cape and not be Superman, it hurted him more not being Superman than when he actually had on the cape. He was like, it's just something. He said, it's just, you can't run from it, Michael. So, just better embrace it. And so ever since then, I kind of like, okay, this is who I am. This is who, God is calling me to be. So, let's change your perspective on it and try to, embrace it and be the best version of you. So it was not naturally. I had to look at myself in the mirror and swallow, swallow that pill. But I'm grateful for you, Juan. You know this, man. I appreciate everything, and he is right. Any speaking engagement I pretty much have is getting ran through Juan. In my whole script, I mean, everything Juan helped. My first keynote address I gave, Juan helped me prepare. I still have it in my notes, man. I'm so grateful for you, Juan. I appreciate you for everything.
Always, of course. That's what we do.
Well done, Juan.
Hold on. I have to say this, because this is very, for the people who are watching and will watch this later, this is a very emotional moment, because what you're witnessing is someone literally getting their flowers while they can smell them. Mm-hmm. And very often people don't get the opportunity to see people who spoke into them and poured into them and influenced them so much, to not just give them the flowers, but so that other people get to see it. So yeah, man. So salute to y'all, man. This bond is really incredible.
Let's give it to them,
man. Yeah, this is beautiful, man. This is beautiful.
I appreciate it. And Mike is, my students, former students, I call them my kids, because that's what it feels like. You take them on to raise them sometime, and not that he needed it. His mom did an awesome job. Love his mom, and his sister. But he was like he said, every transition, pivot in life, we right by each other's side. This is what's going on. We check in with each other. And it does something for me, because it holds me accountable as well, because I try to be a man of integrity. So when I say things and he, like you see, he holds on to, he's like, why? So where are you at with this? You said such and such. And I'm like, you know what? I did say this. So it holds me accountable. So.
What I would like to see happen now, Michael, I would like you and Xavier to have a conversation. You're same age. Talk, have a conversation with each other.
Well, I actually kind of forgot I was even on the podcast. I was just listening. But I relate to you. Your story and mine are very, very, well, not all the way, but a lot of commonalities in our experience. Being forced to be a leader even when you didn't really want to. Trying to take away the cape when you really wanted to, but you had to go ahead and do it. Now, with this position that you're in, was that always what you were aspiring to do, or is this like kind of what fit right for you? And then if not, what was it that you wanted to do?
So the position I'm in now, I really didn't. So I played basketball in my high school. Once my dad passed away, I didn't want to play no more. And a high school coach told me, one assistant, she was like, you can still be around a game of basketball without playing. I was like, so I thought I was going to be this businessman. So I did real estate internships and insurance, one of the top insurance companies in the South. And I did all that. And I was like, this ain't fulfilling. And so I got to college and I started coaching like 3rd through 5th graders at Be Mays Elite. That was my first start. I was like, I love this. I love the game of basketball, and this is my way to impact kids. Why not? And so then I got a B team. Then I, went on to coach, the circuit team, where I helped girls get on some scholarships and play college ball. And I was like, I love this. If I can do this, and, not to mention, I don't do anything for money, but, if y'all look at some of these college coaches' salaries, it's like,
big money.
So if I can be around a game of basketball, I didn't feel like work. And then working at Tennessee State with the basketball program there, I was like, okay. So about my senior years when I really started to lock in on okay, I want to be a college basketball coach. And so I just started working towards it. And, after relationships I built at Tennessee State, I was recommended for this job. So, yeah, that's how it happened.
HBCU success right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So my other piece, I want you to talk to your mother. What do you have to say to your mother right now?
To my mother?
Yeah.
Oh man, you might get me emotional on this thing. Really, just I'm grateful for everything. It's one of my biggest supporters. Like literally last night we had a road game, and I forgot she was coming. She was there at Cleveland State, so she's always there. Like my head coach literally added her to the group message and was like, "Did you mean to do that?" She was like, "She part of the team." So just thank you for everything, all the sacrificing you did for me and my sister. the support, whether I was playing, coaching, filling up water bottles. Like, she's always been there, always attended, and anything that I'm a part of, me and my sister a part of, she embraces it, and whether it's people, friends, like, and make it her own. So just thank you for everything, and I promise you, keep giving me a few years, and you won't have to work too much longer. That's one of my main goals. Is I'm not saving for me. I'm saving for my sister and my mom. Hopefully retire her sooner than later. So just thank you for everything, and you much appreciated.
Well, an example. That's what Voices of Men, Bridging Generations is all about. We have Mr. Art Hines backstage, but I think before we bring him on, should we take another break?
I think so.
Let's take
I'm never against the break.
Let's take a break. And the
It was a day I'll never forget. When I laid my eyes on you, it was a dream come true.
Seems like yesterday that I walked into that room, saw you standing there.
It's Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So Mr. Gary G, a regular on this program, on our other program, is releasing a video on Valentine's Day. So you can see that's Gary and his wife in that video. So we thought we'd put it out there, support Gary, and just to get the word out and the message that is in his video. So that's what that was all about. Valentine's Day is coming up. Gentlemen, pay attention to Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
You regret it. You better remember. Be wise. Be wise, gentlemen. Be wise.
Michael, you get it?
Yes, sir.
It matters.
So I want to take the opportunity to introduce my good friend, another educator, real estate professional, and that's a powerful man whose voice needs to be heard as often as it can be heard. So let's welcome Mr. Art Hines to the show.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Brother Hines.
Good evening. Good evening.
How are you?
We're doing good. How are you doing, sir?
Wonderful. It's so good to see you. A bunch of gentlemen like that.
Awesome. Good.
Mhm.
Mr. Hines, we're having a spirited conversation with Mr. Michael Johnson, and he's a young man who is coaching college when he should be a student.
Oh, wonderful. I like that already.
He's coaching when he should be. So that says something right there. So just talk to Michael Johnson. Share some of from your perspective. This program is about bridging generations, Voice of Men, and talk about generations here. You and Mr. Johnson. Okay. Talk to him for a second.
Yes, Mr. Johnson, I was very impressed with this first statement. Here's the man.
I appreciate that, sir.
I like it because it shows leadership. It shows that you're out front of the purpose that you have within you. So you're pursuing it with passion. So I see all of that already. So that's a wonderful thing.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. So often, our young men tend to take a back seat, and that hasn't always been the case. But I think I don't know what really caused it, but I remember when I was in school 100 years ago, the males were sort of offended if a young female would beat him doing something, if she get a better score on a test, or if she, he just kind of felt like I'm the man, so we're supposed to be leading this thing. But then by the time I went to college and got out and did some practice teaching, I noticed that things are changing. Instead of the males wanting to take the leadership, I would give them an assignment, and they would take their assignment and have their little girlfriend sitting right next to them in another seat right next to them. So he'll take his assignment right in my face and give it to her and tell her to do it. So I would ask him, well, how is that going to help you? But he didn't seem to care. So I kind of thought, this is not a good thing here. Our guys are changing, and I don't think they're changing for the better. So, what I see and hear about your case, that's just the opposite. And it's coming back to what I believe is our rightful place. Not that we are trying to compete, but at the same time, I think we have an obligation to stand on our own 2 feet and do what God has put us here to do. And I think, it's a real clear indication that that's what you're doing, and I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. It's definitely hasn't been easy. It comes with its growing pains, especially, I kind of realized earlier, like who God wants me to be and who he's calling me to be ultimately. And so, with that, you have to walk different, talk different, and it's definitely it's some growing pains because you see everybody else doing, what they're doing, and it's kind of like, I can't do what they're doing because I'm not going where they're going. And so it definitely had its growing pains, but I'm definitely, trying to enjoy the process and, keep learning.
Exactly. Well, I would challenge you and to just keep doing what you're doing. And I know for sure, ultimately, you are going to end up in a wonderful place.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
That's good stuff.
Now, I also believe that as men, it's our responsibility to take leadership roles and to help our younger males pull them up. I have a picture in my house that says, "He ain't heavy, he's my brother." It's one brother giving a helping hand to another brother, and he's lifting him, and he says, "He ain't heavy, he's my brother." So I think that's an attitude that we all should adopt, especially when they're dealing with our young man.
That's good. True story.
Mhm.
True story.
Yeah.
And I think this is a good time to transition into mentoring, as you just said, what you just said, Mr. Hines. So,
Yes.
and Mr. Hines, one mentor, Michael, played a huge role in his life. So mentoring is a big deal, and it's not enough of that going on. So I want us to talk about that in depth. And Michael, we'll start with you. We'll start with you. What is mentoring? And it's played a role in your life. What do you have to say about mentoring, and what should we be doing more of?
More mentoring. Mentoring played a huge role in my life, whether it was Juan, whether it was my another one of my mentors by the name of Whitney Ross. Whitney showed me that really he was one of the first people that of a different race that I got close to, and he showed me that everybody don't dislike each other, and that we can't love each other. And so my mentors, they're my everything because I have my father wasn't around most of the time, so it's my mentors who I leaned on. Those are my mentors who showed me how to invest in what a family and a marriage should look like and how you should treat women. It was my mentors. And so that is really why I got into coaching and why I love absolutely working with youth and people. I know I'm young, but youth, people younger than me, because it was people that poured into my life like Juan. And, I have dozens of mentors, I feel like. And so that's why I try to return the favor to my girls and my players and anybody I come in contact with, because, it's different. You hear things like your mom and dad say, but it's different coming from an outside person. And you really hear it when they repeating the same thing. You like, okay, so both of these people saying the same thing, I gotta listen to it. So mentoring, like I said, It changed my life. It showed me that, I can make money without selling drugs and being an athlete. I can make it the right way. And so, mentoring, it was huge. And I think that, especially my age, like people think we so young. We're not too young to mentor. These kids look up to us, whether we realize it or not, and they're watching us. And so if we can get somebody and pull them under our wing and, we don't know everything, but they can learn, from the mistakes that we made. And so if we can go ahead and do that, why not? Because like y'all said, it seemed like by generation it's getting worse and worse. So why not try to steer them in the right direction?
Yeah.
So mentoring is everything to me, and that's why I'm a part of the 100 Black Man and Collegiate 100. It's the youth, and it's everything to me. So that's a big reason why I am who I am today.
That is awesome.
Community, man. I believe that it takes a village. I'm a strong proponent of the village work. I'm a product of it. So whatever we can do, and I always say this, I stress this. I love it. Dr. Maya Angelou said, when you give, when you learn, teach. And that's pretty much, even for myself, how I model my life to the best of my ability. If I got it, I used to tell y'all, right, Mike, if I got it, y'all got it. And when I'm learning something, I feel the responsibility of passing it on.
Yeah.
Is mentoring, is it age specific?
Nah.
The mentor?
No. I think even to Mike's point, saying, you can never be too young. I mean, speaking specifically to his point, you could be mentored voluntarily or involuntarily every day of your life. So, if you're depending on, music, what kinds of music do you listen to? Like I said earlier, the things that you let in, the things that are repetitive in nature that you listen to every day that become a part of your routine, become a part of your mindset. There are rappers who are mentoring people every day. Whether they know it or not, there are actors, actresses, entertainers, politicians who they're mentoring every single day, whether they're doing it voluntarily or involuntarily. They're doing it. So I don't think there's an age on it. I think it goes back to something I think I said last week, was the difference between knowledge and experience. Like, I will applaud everyone who had to stick to it in this, and the drive to complete education and get that knowledge. At the same time, I will never discount anyone who may not have that, but they have that firsthand life experience. Yeah. I think when you blend those two things together, you can't fail with mentoring. If you get somebody who has that education and that book knowledge, and you combine that with someone who's really lived through it, you could really provide an amazing blueprint for somebody to succeed.
And I agree. I agree with Augusta. It was like Doc, like you said, I'm coaching, and I feel like I should be in college. And so, the good thing about that is, with my girls is, I might not be the oldest person, but I've been through so much. And so if I can help them get through it, and that's what made it worth it for me. Me losing a lot of family members and just going through the experiences that I've been through. If I can help these girls get through it easier than what I did, then it was all worth it for me going through it. And so, with me being a college coach, like, these girls are freshmen and sophomores in college. And it's funny because, like, I was doing the same assignments y'all was doing a few months ago. I feel like. So it makes it easier for me to be able to help them and relate to them too. Because, I'm not going to come at them, like I'm 60 years old. I'm going to come at them how I am, my age. Right. And, they relate and they understand. And a lot of them call me coach, but a lot of them call me big brother too. They're like, man, Coach Mike, you like my big brother. Like, I don't, we look at you as a coach, and of course we respect you, but you like our big brother. And that's how I want it to be. Even the girls I'm recruiting now, like, I tell them all the time, like, I'm cool. Now on the court, it's business, but off the court, like, I am joking. I'm going to be who I am. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely don't think it has an age. I wouldn't be in the position I am today if it had age.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But that's what I wanted to hear you say. But we have different age groups on here. We have Art, I'm on here, and we have Augusta and Juan, and then Xavier and you, Michael. There's a gap. Right? There's a gap. There's some differences there. How do we, and this program is about bridging generations. What suggestions do you have to connect all of us? How do we, connect all of us? And this is for all the members on the panel, not just for Michael.
I think I would speak and say Brother Art said it first, where he came out and was honest and said, you know, there needs to be more mentoring, because it's visible. We've seen the trajectory take a drop in, you know, however, you know, the different forms of masculinity, what's manhood, how it's defined, but just the lack of kind of leadership and taking hold of things and taking charge. To what Art said, oh, we need to have those conversations. We need more men doing it. And this conversation, this group, it is greatly needed, and it has to be real, intentional, genuine conversations, and we can change it as long as it's real.
Yeah, real and intentional. I like that.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I think platforms like this is perfect. That's how it starts. You know, I remember, you know, you got some older people that just look down on the young generation like, oh, they dumb, they don't know nothing. Like that's just how some people think. But you know, in all honesty, that's not how it is. And you know, I told my girls, I said, man, I'm gonna never grow up. Like I'm gonna always, you know, act goofy and try to just, you know, stay in tune with, you know, what the younger people got going on. So I can relate and show grace, because sometimes, you know, they'll say something, I'm like, man, that's so dumb. I just gotta think, I thought that way a couple years ago.
Yeah,
like I'm not far from it. So, you know, conversations that we're having today and just, you know, really trying to understand, you know, my generation and the generation come behind me, like why we are the way we are, and try to, you know, relate. And once that happens, then that's when, you know, the relationship can build and people can hear, you know, both sides of what has to be said.
Yeah, I definitely think a better understanding of each generation and why each generation acts the way that they do. Because like how Augusta said earlier with the Dewey Decimal System, they taught me how to do that in the beginning, and then in the middle of explaining it, they said throw away all the books, just like with cursive. They threw everything away, didn't explain anything else, and then they started teaching us how to use Google, how to use search engines and stuff like that. But we can still, like the older generation could say that the younger generation doesn't have a work ethic, but we still doing the same thing, getting to the same goal, still getting to the same research, but it's just a different way. So when I feel like a lot of the problem comes with the misunderstanding on how we get to like the new math, same thing with that. But
That's good.
What is a common misunderstanding? Anyone care to talk about it?
What is the what?
A common misunderstanding. You know, Xavier said with the misunderstanding. What is one common misunderstanding, Xavier?
we're lazy.
Yeah, that's what came to mind. Yeah.
And that's the perception. That's what an older person would say. What they would say. Because, you know, I was wondering, is it possible, and this is just a question I'm putting out there, for you, Michael, 22 years old, to mentor a 55-year-old?
Not yes, because you know it's some things like maybe technology in that realm. I might understand more technology than more about technology than, you know, that person that's 55. And you know, I always say, like, you can learn something from anybody, whether it's a grain of salt or a lot. You know, you just have to take it and apply it to what you can. It's funny. I was talking to my head coach the other day. She the GOAT. She 3 back-to-back championships as a head coach. I'm talking about like coach of the year. She the GOAT. She was like, Mike, I learn stuff from you all the time. And you a young buck. That's what she called me, young buck. Like, I learn stuff from you all the time. I was like, what? Like, you know, you sometimes you think like, you know, you talking, but are you really listening? Like, and so I think it's definitely possible because, like I said, you can learn something from anybody. And, you know, life is, you know, the best teacher. So I really do think so. Now, I don't know about necessarily mentor, but, you know, you can definitely learn from anybody. So, you know.
And I'm here as an older person. I'm not going to say it's possible. I think it is happening. You know, I think you can mentor your parents, and a lot of parents need mentoring from their children. You know, so there's no if and but about it. You can, and you are doing it. You are doing it because there are many older people out there who are off the rail.
Yeah, I joke with my mom all the time, like, you my daughter now. I posted on Facebook, I said, man, y'all told me not to have kids, but my mama, my sister's like, my kids, like, good God.
Yeah, mentoring is a big deal. And, you know, we're building out a mentoring program with our nonprofit organization. We're looking for mentors. we have mentees, of course, but we're looking for mentors. We're looking for individuals like you, Michael, like everyone on this platform. And it's not just to mentor younger people, but it's a mentor, period.
And it's global. It's global.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not just that 15-year-old. There are many adults, well, not just adults, older people who are in need of mentoring. They're off the rail, you know? And often you hear the saying, it's you're a different generation. One of the reasons why I want to bridge the generations, I want to bring them closer, because it's not just a generation. It's different age group living at the same time.
At the same time. Yep.
Experiences.
Yep.
They're similar. You know, you talk about the internet. It's not just your internet because you're younger. It's us if we're wise, right? Older men. So Art, jump in this conversation, Art. Let's hear your piece on the bridging the generations with and how mentoring apply, and can a younger Michael mentor a older Art Hines?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Knowledge doesn't care who has it. If you know that you
That's good.
have knowledge that can benefit somebody else, it doesn't matter how old you are. You know, if you're willing to freely give that knowledge to people, especially the ones who want it, but even people who don't know that they need it, if you be willing to volunteer that information to people, that's a wonderful thing. That helps to move us all forward.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we need mentoring, but we don't know that we need mentoring. So if you have a skill set and you're willing to share that skill set with someone else, that's a wonderful thing. I think that's what mentoring is, at bottom line. A lot of times the students that I dealt with in the past when I was in the classroom, they would sometimes not know certain facts, but they would put up in a front, and they wanted to hide the fact that they didn't know. But I had to learn that, you know, there's a way that you can use questioning as a tool to help you to uncover some of the things that the student may know or they may not know that they need. For example, I had a population of students one time that were alternative students. And then, you know, everybody thought that these are bad kids and these kids can't learn, but that's not true. My mantra is every child can learn, period. Full stop. Every child can learn. It's just a matter of whether or not you have the willingness to use whatever tools that is required to get that child to understand and to learn. Then that's what you should be about doing. I had a number of instances where the students taught me.
Yeah.
There was an instance where I was a science teacher, and I tried a number of different tactics, and a lot of the students would already have made up in their mind that, well, I don't know science, I don't like science, I don't know science, I don't want to know science. Science is hard, you know? So instead of saying, well, they say it's hard and you say it's not hard, well, then you're not making much progress. But what you do is you tap into the psyche and the mindset of the student who is saying that it's hard. He's saying that for a reason.
Yeah.
He may not know how to solve a problem that you put out there, but if you meet him where he is, if you teaching at one level, say if you teaching at level 10 and he's at level 5, you can say whatever you want to say up there at level 10 and think you're getting across. That's not going to help that child.
Right.
What you got to do is you got to come down to level 5 and catch him by his hand and then walk him step by step until you get him up to level 10. Then you can teach him at level 10. So I had one student to the point where I honestly have to tell you that I kind of thought, I never would say it, but I was kind of thinking in the back of my mind, this child is dumb. But once I started the tactic that I just spoke about, start with him where he is. It doesn't matter where he is. Wherever he is, start with him right there.
Right.
I was teaching a class in genetics, and it had to do with genes and chromosomes and alleles and all of these kind of terms that, highfalutin terms. And if this student is operating at a 5th grade level, you can't reach him there.
Yeah.
So I found out, well, what do you like? What do you do when you're not at school? What do you do? Oh, Miss Hines, I like dogs. Oh, okay, you wonderful. What kind of dogs you got? I got some pit bulls. Okay, good. I like pit bulls. Look, do you have male dogs, female dogs? Well, I have them both. You have any puppies? Yeah. Tell me about the male. Oh, he's got a big chest. He's got a blaze down the front of his face. He's got, I don't know, he named several traits and features. I said, okay, well, tell me about the female. Well, she's black and she stands real broad. Okay, do you have puppies? Yeah, she got puppies. What color are the puppies? Well, one of them was black, and one of them is tan like his father, but some of them don't look like either one. So okay, well, now how many puppies you got? Got 6. Okay, now if you got 6 puppies, and 2 of them look like their mother, and 1 look like their father. Now, what percentage of those puppies are going to have traits like their mother? Well, see, he's not going to try to calculate a percentage because he's thinking, well, I don't know how to calculate no percentages. Say, well, let's do it like this. If you got 6 puppies and you got 2 of them that's looking like their mother, you want to find out what percentage look like their mother. Look, can you divide 6 into 2? No, I can't divide 6 into 2. Oh, yes, you can. And then you show him how to divide 6 into 2. So you put a point right here after your 2 and add a 0. Now you say 6 into 20. How many times does that go? Let's go 3 times. All right, that's right. 3 times 2 is 6. Okay, so once you do the subtraction, you're going to actually end up with about 33%, because you're going to have 3 and then 3 again, and then you turn that 0.33 into a percent. That's 33%. So then he'll see, okay, I didn't know I knew how to do percentages. Yeah, you know how to do percentages. So I kind of take him exactly where he is, and instead of going in there talking to him about chromosomes and genes and all that kind of stuff, you can take him exactly where he is, talk language that he understands, move him from where he is to where you want him to be, and it works. So you have to individualize, not because he's in the 10th grade. He may not understand at a 10th grade level. If he's in a 10th grade and understand at a 5th grade level, well, start teaching him from a 5th grade level. Because if you don't,
That's real.
you missing him. And once you miss him too much, he gonna get frustrated and he ain't gonna want to fool with you. But if he engage him right and he say, "Oh, Mr. Hunt, I just learned something on that. I didn't know that." Okay, cool. Well, the next time you get ready to talk to him and do him the same way, you're going to move him forward. So I think part of it is not that he can't learn. Some of it is we can't teach. So we got to examine ourselves too. So that has been a formula that I found that works.
So meet them where they are. That's
Absolutely. You just put it in a nutshell. Meet them where they are and move them forward as far as you can, as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's real compassion.
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what we as individuals can do. Now, one or two things that we can do to meet another person where they are. All right. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Okay.
Blessings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Topstar. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest singles entitled Far. Yeah. Now, this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Where me I come from, I me know where me I go. Where me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me see the aim, me a navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me a see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me I do my thing now, what's no one else. Some of them must be thought they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. Know me I am far, but as a winner me no know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from. I me know where me I go. Far me I come from. I me know where me I go. Now last me way now. Come me know where me I go. Far me I come from. I me know where me I go. Me know me I go. Come me know me I come from. Where me I come from. Dark like dungeon.
Right, welcome back. Our final segment, and Art was saying that we got to meet people where they are. So I want to ask, we're going to go around the bonfire. This is a bonfire conversation. And what is that one thing that you can do to meet the next person where they are? This is a generic conversation now. So just picture that person. What is that one thing that you can do to meet that next person where they are? And let's start with Michael, our special guest.
Yes, sir. So like I kind of spoke on earlier, just, to meet somebody where they are, you got to know where they came from. So just really understanding, who they are and why, what made them that way. And once you get down to that, then I believe you can help, meet them where they are and, try to advance them forward. So just really understanding, where they came from and just building a relationship. That's the biggest thing, just building a relationship with them.
So knowing something about them, knowing what they're trying to achieve, where they're going is important in order to help to step and change you. So the change is not in them, it's in you. It's for you
Yes,
to
sir.
adapt to them and where they are. So adapting is one way. Adapting is one way.
Yeah.
What are some other ways, other things that we can do?
I think what
Go ahead, Augusta.
I think what Art was speaking to throughout his conversation, I heard him talking about, the different methods and how to get there. But really what I heard was to display compassion. He was able to be effective in his teaching, not just because of the methods, but in his heart, he had a real compassion and love to see these young people progress. So because of that, he even thought to himself, how do I meet this kid here? What tools do I introduce? What do I need to pull out of my toolbox to make sure that this kid succeeds? And I think that level of compassion, or having that compassion, it makes the difference in how you approach the situation. The old saying of walking a mile in someone's shoes, realizing, this could be you, or it could have been you, or someone or love, and having the compassion to say, I want to see this person win. I think that's something critical and needed.
So compassion is important. Be compassionate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. What are some other ways? And Michael, you can come back in, not because you gave us one, we're going to limit it to one.
Art mentioned something. He said it a couple of times. It just stood out. He said being willing. I think willingness is definitely key. Everything that everybody just said is just our keys, especially just knowing their story. But I think one of the biggest things too is just being willing, because everybody's different, and everybody comes from a different place. So, the approach that's necessary for one may be different for another. So just being willing to be adaptable.
And I'll piggyback off of what Augusta said. You got to give people the grace and the space to grow. I honestly feel like, and you got the same, space and the grace that people gave you to become who you are. I think that you got to try to, meet people in the middle. Yeah, they might be making mistakes, but a lot of mistakes, come with, maturing in time, heals a lot of that. So just giving people like the grace and the space to grow and, meet them where they are.
Go ahead.
I would say having endurance, just not really giving up on them. Because especially if you're meeting someone where they are, someone's probably given up on them before, but just keep going and keep pushing at it with them.
It doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Endurance. Yeah, and I want to talk a little bit about mistakes, because we have 6 of us on here, and is there anyone on here who's never made a mistake? In fact, if you are shooting for something bigger than you, what's the likelihood that you won't make some mistakes? I'm going after it. And what is the key to making mistakes? How do you convert a mistake so it's no longer a mistake?
It becomes a lesson.
Yeah. Never. I never lost. I only learned.
Learn. Yep.
Never lost. I only learned.
It is a mistake if you're not learning from it.
No, it's not a mistake if you turn it into a lesson. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So this notion of a mistake, there's some extremities there where people go and do some stuff. That's not even a mistake. That's just messed up, right? That's different than a mistake. But in life, as we're doing what we're doing and pursuing life and going after things, who cares about the mistake? And another thing that we need to really focus on is curiosity. What does curiosity mean? And is there enough of that, especially as we get older? Is there enough about curiosity? And talk to me about curiosity and why it's important.
I think, curiosity definitely leads to, depending on, where you are in your process, and what you're willing to understand. Curiosity leads to a lot of creative and innovative things. So I think curiosity is a great thing. I think too often in society it has like negative connotations attached to it. You know, a lot of people say I'm bored, you know, so they go get into things, but there's nothing wrong with curiosity. You're inquisitive, you're asking questions, you want to know more. There's a way to, I think it's a part of that old, we talked about last week, self-discovery. When you're curious, sometimes it just needs to be redirected.
Right.
And you know, it's interesting that babies tend to be very curious as when they're young, growing. But as you get older, you become less curious. And as you get older, something is happening in your life. You saw they're going the wrong direction. After a while, you're getting older. So, you know how life works, right? You're young, you get older, and then you get whatever. So, but then you become less curious. So, isn't that saying something that we should maintain no matter what age, a certain amount of curiosity? We should want to know why certain things are the way they are instead of just saying it is so. Is there any benefit to just saying it is so?
No, because then you're at times no, because then you're not learning. You know, depending on what the situation is. You know, there's you just putting an end to it, saying, "Well, this absolutely has to be this." You're closing yourself for learning. You're closing yourself to seeing, well, you know, maybe, you know, the simple math problem. 1 + 1 is 2. Well, 2 + 0 is also 2. You know, 3 + 1 is 4. 2 + 2 is also 4. If you're just so caught up and stiff-necked on this is absolutely what it has to be, at times you're not open to be like, well, let me try this. You know, I'm somebody who eats food from everywhere, even though times I've paid for it, you know, gastronomically later. But the curiosity of, well, let me try it. Just to see, be like, all right, you know, some things absolutely no, but other times, you know what, I'm curious about this. Let me try this for the experience and decide if this is going to be an absolute no, or, you know, I'll double back and do this again later on in life.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
Read comment. You get older and being controlled by societal expectations, so you lose your curiosity, and it's so dangerous, especially when the current system that's best for you has never served you best. Then where are you if you're not trying to shake it up? Art, you have something to read. There's a comment from a visitor to our YouTube channel, and that is a topic we're going to take up next week. Can you read that comment, please, from the YouTube channel from last week?
Let's see, from the YouTube channel from last week. I'm trying to think.
No, let one read it, because one saw it.
Okay.
Mistake. Let one read it. That there's a comment from the YouTube channel, and we're going to take on that topic next week.
So this will be what we'll be jumping into next week, especially given this is a perfect time to even have a conversation like this, especially during this month. But from Charles Purrier, he says, I'd like to hear your voices concerning the alignment of Black folks' priorities to shed the shackles of European insurgency and manipulation of diasporic Black life.
So we're going to take on that topic next week. Yeah. We're going to break it down.
So we'll be focusing on what that looks like as a community to shed the shackles, just of you know, and we understand so much is going on in history, especially when it comes to the diaspora. You know, we're being brought from our homeland to something new, and losing language and identity and just all of these things, how that has, you know, impacted our community from then up until now, and how do we continue to affect culture in our community? What does that look like?
And it's Black History Month, right?
Absolutely, it is.
So what better time to have that discussion? What better time to have that discussion? Because, and again, it's about just accepting things without questioning, without, is this good for me? And why should I believe this? Is it because I was told, right, that it's good? Is that good enough?
Challenging status quo.
Is that good enough, Art?
No, that's not good enough. I think we need to put more emphasis on what our needs are. I think we've spent a considerable amount of time with catering to what we have been taught by the system. We should evaluate the system in a little bit more critical terms. I think we should, there's a quote that say, question authority. I think we do need to be able to question authority a little bit more effectively. There's a movement right now to rewrite Black history. And, you know, have us to believe that slavery was a job opportunity. So I think there's a lot of rewriting of history that has taken place in the past, and I think we've accepted it, and I think that has been to our own detriment.
Yeah.
I don't know if you kind of go back and look back in the U.S. history and see what effect that one of our presidents of the United States, Woodrow Wilson. If you go back and take a look at Woodrow Wilson and what he did after he left the presidency, he did a whole lot of rewriting of history. And he wrote a lot of Black people out of history. He changed the hue of a lot of the pictures that were tied to accomplishment by Black people. He put white faces on them. He did a lot of unscrupulous kind of things to rewrite history, to have us to believe that we didn't do anything. So I think if we kind of dig back in and see what was really going on, I think we'll be less likely to buy into the foolishness the Florida governor is trying to say now, that, well, you know, the white students will feel bad if you talk to them about slavery and all that kind of foolish talk. We need to push back against that kind of stuff. So that's one thing I think we should focus on and do whatever we can to push back on that kind of detrimental rhetoric.
We must have a seat at the table. Voices of bridging generations, and that's what this is all about. You know, we're about to close out for this episode, but I'd like to go around the room and have a closing argument from each of the panelists. And who are we starting with?
Who's the youngest?
We can't always blame the youngest for being so fortunate.
Who's the youngest?
We can't always blame the youngest for being so fortunate. But it is a good thing to be the youngest, always. So take it, someone.
We'll let Mike go, because he has some other matters he has to get to. So we'll let Mike go ahead and go. So
okay.
Just first off, thank you all for this. Thank God for this opportunity. Thank you all for this opportunity and this platform. This is not my first episode tuning in on. So, you know, the gems that you all drop on a weekly basis is nothing short of amazing. And, you know, I would just say this, you know, especially to the younger people coming after me, is, you know, get your vision. And, you know, like when you get your vision from God, and once you have your vision, once God gives you that vision, go after it. Don't let, you know, society or social media give you a vision of what life should be like. Get your vision from God and go for it. And, you know, get you some mentors around you and some older people, some wiser people around you that can lead you in that right direction. So that would be my best advice. So thank you all for this opportunity. And like I said, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being obedient. This is a great platform. So thank you all.
Mike, we appreciate you, man. We thank you for being on. You definitely will be back.
Yes,
So thank you.
yes.
I'm
It
proud of
cannot be a first one and done. I definitely need to be back on here with you guys.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right now.
Appreciate you so much.
Thank y'all.
I
Thank y'all.
like to make a charge for all the men that are watching. This work doesn't just stop with just us on this call. With all the goals that we have, I'd like to challenge everyone that's viewing, whether it's live or in a playback. Send your goal in through the YouTube, through Facebook. You can I think our Facebooks are all of our names. You can hit us up directly with your goal, so we can hold you accountable.
Absolutely.
But strive forward to getting a goal and mentor somebody, whether it's someone younger, older. Have a sense of integrity for this year.
Love it.
That's good.
Okay, young buck. All right.
Thanks for that.
That's good.
I would say I heard a Brigadier General of the United States Marine Corps say something a couple of weeks ago, and it's stuck with me ever since. If you want to be a leader, go serve someone. Commit yourself to service. Commit yourself to something greater than you. There's opportunities to do tons of things for people who aren't as blessed as you, and it is you'll be blessed sowing into other people, sowing in the good seed, helping others. Like it's great opportunity. So, at some point this week, that's my challenge to anybody who's listening or on the replay, whether it's live right now for you or you watch this Sunday morning or Monday, whenever. I challenge you, go out and serve someone. Go out and be a blessing to someone who can't do anything for you. That's when it's truly a blessing. That's when you're really doing the work. Go do it for someone who can give you absolutely nothing in return, and just watch not how much better you feel, but watch how your week trends up afterwards.
That's good.
Absolutely.
I
Well,
would say just to ask the question, take the time to ask the question, like, what were you in need of when you were at certain stages of your development? I think that it helped lead certain people to recognize that there are plenty of folks around them, youth and young adults of any age that needs that very thing. That's the question I always ask myself when I didn't have, or I felt alone, or I didn't have a positive male figure at certain points in my life. What was I needed? What questions? What issues? Because that helped direct me to recognize what was in front of me all along, and what they would need from me. So just ask that question, because I'm sure those who are trying to figure out how do I get into mentorship, or there's someone around you.
Yeah.
There's enough around you that are in need, and trust me, you don't have to be there and be perfect. It's not about perfection. You're just helping someone to learn. You're just helping them learn and grow. Sharing your experience and your wisdom.
Say that.
well, I would say let's take full advantage of this month. This is Black History Month, and there's a lot of great information out in the media as we speak, especially during Black History Month. We should absorb as much as we possibly can. And even after Black History Month, I think we still should seek
Absolutely.
to understand
True.
who we are and what our true background is, because it has been exploited and it has been twisted, and it has not served our best interest. But I think there's enough information out here now where we can read and learn for ourselves and behave and act accordingly.
And for me, the word significant is important. And I want each of us and anyone listening or will listen to this broadcast to understand that they're significant.
Yeah.
They're significant and deserving of all things that are good in life. So just look in the mirror and tell yourself that I am significant. I am deserving of everything good in life. And let no other person tell you otherwise. because you're just that. You're significant. And I think it's a good place for us to say goodnight.
Yes.
I want to say thank you to, first of all, gentlemen, for coming on and doing what you do. Our wonderful guest, Michael, at a young age, he's coaching when he could very well be a student and coach. So he's displaying leadership at the highest level. So he's exemplifying what it means to be significant. And he's taken that on, and he has owned it. And he's going to do some amazing things.
Absolutely.
Writings on the wall, right?
Absolutely.
Writings on the wall, very much so. So just want to say thank you to our listeners, those watching us, and just keep supporting this podcast, because it's doing some great things. Just having this conversation is a big thing. Just seeing us on here, I'm seeing some of the comments and texts I'm receiving. Just having a group of men, Black men, coming together and having a conversation like this is no small thing. It's a significant thing. It's a big deal. And my hope is that this is just one. But others will start to do it. Our guests, they will come on and they say, I'm taking this with me somewhere else.
Yeah.
That to me will be success.
Yeah.
If this thing starts to spread like wildfire, and we're having meaningful conversations about meaningful things, about life, our life, right? So thank you, everyone, our wonderful friends of A Collision with Purpose. We have come to the end of this edition of this podcast. And next week, we're going to be having a very spirited, interesting conversation.
Yes.
A month, and we're going to talk about the institutions and why we need to take a serious look at them and see what we need to break away from. What is not in our best interest? What don't serve us best, right? And there's so much out there. So until next time, just want to say blessings always. Donna?
Blessings from Jamaica. This is Sheila Topstar. Tonight I will be performing one of my latest single entitled Far. Yeah. Now, this song is a reflection of my life. However, I believe that this song can also be a reflection of your life. Enjoy. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. When me see the aim, me I navigate to success. Working smart, no rest. Me I see the progress. Want to achieve, so me give it my best. Me I do my thing now, watch no one else. Some of them must be thought they were my friends. Smile with me, but I meet them against them. Want to set up my life and my journey end. You know me, I am far as a winner, me no know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Now last me way now, cause me know where me I go. Far me I come from, I me know where me I go. Me know me I go, cause me know me I come from. Where me I come from, dark like dungeon. Some say me not go nowhere, that's my assumption. But mine I kill them, so them brain function. Far me I come from, and I turn back. Overcome me struggles, me no want it come back. Judas them a fight me, mortal combat. Them full up of jealousy and judge, I no love that. You know me I aim for top star, cat never fear no danger. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up the currency paper. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. Far me I come from, and me know where me I go. last me way now. Cause me know where me a go. Far me a come from. And me know where me a go. Learn a lot along the way. Sorry if you mark a dog, them bite anyway. Me know the pain me get betrayed. Me conquer emotion, use a spit and pave the way. Calm me mind and relax. Me nah go worry, ja a guide nah fear. Them set the good, you set the bait and the chops. Trying to get me in a trouble with the cops still. Me know me I am far. Born as a winner, me don't know about failure. Have to make it big, have to make it major. Stacking up your currency paper. Far me I come from.